I had never imagined that a single evening could dismantle everything I thought I knew about my life. The sound of the front door unlocking at an ungodly hour made my chest tighten, a premonition that something had gone terribly wrong. When Lily stumbled inside, the dim hallway light caught her face in a cruel, revealing glare. Her blouse was torn near the collar. Mascara streaked like black rivers down her cheeks, and bruises marred her skin, dark and angry. My first thought, absurd and cold, was that she had made a mistake, that this was some accident, some minor collision with fate that I could simply sweep away. But the truth had a sharper edge. Victor. The name hung in the air like smoke, acrid and choking. Her betrayal laid bare between us. I need your help, she whispered, her voice trembling. I laughed, though it was a hollow, humorless sound, one that even startled me. The instinct to comfort, to shield, to forgive, flitted through my mind like a phantom, but I pushed it away. Not tonight, not when the cracks ran this deep. I had always been the steady one, the one who saw the structure behind appearances, the cracks others ignored. But now, the cracks were in trust, in love, in the very foundation of the life I thought we had built. I didn't move closer. I didn't offer comfort. I simply watched, letting the silence weigh between us. I fell, she said, attempting to justify the bruises with a feeble explanation, but the words fell flat, hollow as her voice. It was an accident, nothing more. My chest tightened. Lies. Every night she spent with him, every lie she told to cover her affair, every moment she let him touch her. Those were choices, not accidents, not mistakes, choices. I gestured toward the kitchen chair. Sit, now, and tell me everything. No excuses, no evasions. She hesitated, then sank into the seat. Her eyes refused to meet mine, tracing invisible patterns on the floor. You've been gone so much lately, she murmured, voice tinged with accusation. Don't make this about me, I said flatly. These bruises aren't my fault. The kitchen clock ticked, each second a relentless drumbeat against my nerves. I remembered when we had bought that clock, simpler times, 7 years ago, before Max, before betrayal, when we thought we were unbreakable. Her lips parted, then closed. Silence hung heavy. Finally, she whispered, Victor. The name hit me like a punch to the stomach. I didn't know him personally, but I knew exactly who he was. The other man. The one who had invaded our home, our marriage, our lives. I laughed again, dry and sharp. Comfort her? Hold her? Shield her? No, not tonight. I stepped back. Go to him for bandages, I said. You chose him. Live with it. Her face twisted, hurt and anger battling for dominance. You're being cruel. No, I said, voice calm, precise. I'm being honest. For the first time tonight, someone in this house is being honest. I packed Max's overnight bag with mechanical precision, my hands steady despite the storm inside. Pajamas, a change of clothes, his favorite stuffed dinosaur. Lily followed silently, eyes glimmering with something I didn't want to identify. Where are you taking him? She asked. To Marlene, I said. He needs to be safe, away from lies, away from violence. He was too young to understand fully, trusting as only a child can, and I let that innocence guide my actions. I made the calls. Marlene, the police, documenting everything. Evidence mattered more than feelings. Bruises could be lies, but cameras couldn't. Footage, call logs, witnesses, every detail became a shield for Max and myself. By sunrise, I sat across from Maya Patel, the attorney Paul had recommended. Sharp, uncompromising, with eyes that missed nothing. You have evidence, yes? She asked. I laid out Nest camera timestamps, call logs, my movements with Max, Marlene's potential testimony. Every small detail mattered. Excellent, she said. Contemporaneous records will be your strongest allies. But understand, they will escalate. False accusations rarely end quietly. We mapped out every step. Subpoenas, calls to property managers, timelines, security footage, evidence of Victor's presence and aggression. Every interaction was methodical, calculated, deliberate. Max's safety remained the priority above all else. Even as we worked, Victor's shadow lingered, always present, always dangerous. Lily's betrayal was raw, but Victor's manipulation was strategic, a calculated threat. Every plan, every step, needed precision to counteract both. Days passed in a blur of surveillance footage, phone calls, and strategizing. Paul scouted Victor's movements, noting cameras and patterns. Maya prepared legal maneuvers, subpoenas, and evidence presentation. Detective Alvarez monitored everything with quiet efficiency, keeping Max and me insulated from escalating dangers. Then came Marlene's call. Lily wanted to talk. Something about Max, my stomach tightened. This could be a trap. But with Ron and Marlene present, witnesses would provide accountability. I agreed, cautious yet resolute, knowing confrontation was inevitable. The evening approached like a slow storm. The weight of anticipation, fear, and anger pressed down on me. I reviewed every frame of footage again, called each witness, and ensured our preparations were airtight. There could be no missteps. Every lie had to be countered with truth. Every manipulation neutralized with evidence. As I walked through the quiet house one last time, touching door frames and locks, I felt the burden of responsibility keenly. Protect Max, preserve the truth, and confront betrayal with precision. No emotion, no indulgence, just calculated action. And yet, beneath the calm, a storm brewed. The confrontation was coming. Evidence, timing, and preparation were my weapons. Lies and manipulation were theirs. Only one side could prevail. The night deepened, shadows crawling along the walls, and I knew nothing would ever be the same. Max's safety, the integrity of my home, and the truth itself hung in delicate balance. Tomorrow the fight would begin. The night lingered heavy over the city as I drove Max to Marlene's place. Streetlights flickered past like distant stars, indifferent to the turmoil inside the car. He sat quietly, thumb in his mouth, leaning against his small pillow. I glanced at him, and despite everything, my heart clenched. Innocence. Unbroken. His trust in me, pure and unquestioning, was a fragile shield against the storm I was walking into. Marlene greeted us at the door, her presence calm and grounding. Max immediately hugged her leg, a small act of comfort, and I felt the tension ease, just slightly. I left him with her, refusing to let myself linger on the thought of Lily's face, her bruises, the audacity of her betrayal. Every memory of our life together, every shared laugh, seemed like a distant echo now. Driving back, the streets empty, I reviewed everything in my mind. Every lie, every act, every instance where Victor had manipulated, coerced, or threatened. Nothing could be left unaccounted for. I felt a cold precision settle over me. Anger was a tool, yes, but only if wielded carefully. I could not allow emotions to cloud judgment. Back home, the silence was oppressive. Lily had retreated to the bedroom, I assumed, leaving her phone behind as if to signal surrender. But surrender never comes so easily with people like her. I sifted through the messages, the calls, the social media interactions. Victor's name appeared like a scar across my screen, in texts full of deceit, promises, and coercion. Each message, each word, a testament to the betrayal. Days blended into nights as I built the case, step by step, proof by proof. Every camera, angle, every timestamp, every witness recollection became a part of an intricate puzzle. Max's well-being was central, and every precaution I took was to shield him from the fallout. I arranged new locks, cameras, and emergency contacts, fortifying what remained of our home against the intrusion of lies. Then came the confrontation. Lily, despite all evidence, tried to mask guilt with fragility, playing the part of a victim. I listened, patient but implacable, letting her words hang in the air, only to counter them with facts. Evidence does not argue, it asserts. And I had enough to assert the truth in a way that could not be ignored. Victor, of course, was absent, a ghost orchestrating chaos from a distance. But the stakes were real. Every moment he remained in Max's proximity or Lily's influence increased the risk. Police reports were filed, restraining orders drafted, and a network of vigilance established. Legal counsel, private surveillance, and family witnesses formed a shield that I carefully layered, each element reinforcing the others. Night after night, I monitored Lily's movements. The fear she instilled, not in Max but in herself, was palpable. I realized that the person who suffered most in this web of deceit was not Victor. He would move on unscathed, but Max, caught between love, innocence, and adult conflicts. That knowledge hardened my resolve. Protecting him became a mission not of vengeance, but of preservation. One evening, as rain streaked the windows, I sat with the logs of calls, the timelines, and the video footage. Each frame painted a picture of betrayal so vivid it was almost cinematic. Yet, I remained detached. Emotional involvement could compromise judgment. Max's safety, the truth, and the integrity of my actions had to remain absolute. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil inside. Lightning flashed, illuminating the room in stark bursts, as if nature itself acknowledged the tension within these walls. Each rumble of thunder felt like a drumbeat of impending confrontation. I reviewed every contingency. What if Lily tried to manipulate Max? What if Victor returned unexpectedly? What if the law failed to act in time? Every scenario was considered, weighed, and planned for. I began training myself, not physically, but mentally, to respond with precision. Patience, observation, restraint. These became my tools. Anger had to be calculated. I could not afford impulsive decisions. Every move, every word, every action had to reinforce the ultimate goal: safety, truth, and accountability. Weeks passed in this rhythm. Lily's attempts at manipulation became more subtle, but I was vigilant. Each smile, each feigned apology, each effort to regain trust was countered with silent observation and documentation. Her vulnerability, real or fabricated, could not sway the course. Every action had consequences, and the consequences were documented meticulously. Then came the tipping point, a message from Victor, confident, smug, underestimating the web of preparation I had woven. He assumed I was unaware, unprepared. That arrogance became his weakness. I traced his movements, cross-referenced with timestamps, monitored communications, and noted associates. Every detail mattered. Every oversight could be exploited. But I had no oversights. The confrontation itself was methodical. Lily arrived, unaware of the full scope of my preparation, thinking she could manipulate the narrative, spin the tale, protect her lover. But evidence, when wielded correctly, leaves no room for interpretation. Police were present, legal counsel prepared, witnesses ready. Every lie was countered, every manipulation exposed. Max watched, innocent but aware, as the walls of deceit crumbled. He didn't need to understand fully, but he witnessed justice in motion, accountability in action. That, perhaps, was the only solace amidst the chaos. By the time the night ended, Victor was barred from all contact. Lily faced the consequences of her choices, and Max remained safe. The house, though quiet, felt heavier. Trust was shattered, innocence marked, but at least the danger had been contained. I sat alone afterward, reviewing footage, confirming timelines, making sure that no detail had been missed. Exhaustion was physical, yes, but also mental, the weight of vigilance pressing down relentlessly. Yet, there was clarity now. Action had been taken, and the path forward, though cautious, was defined. Sleep came fitfully, each dream haunted by shadows of betrayal, but tempered with the knowledge that Max was unharmed. Truth had been asserted, and manipulation could no longer operate unchecked. The first act was complete. The storm had passed, leaving behind a landscape of consequences, scars, and lessons harshly learned. The morning after the confrontation arrived heavy with an almost surreal calm. The air in the house was dense, filled with memories of the previous night's storm. Max, unaware of the full magnitude of events, wandered quietly, clutching his favorite toy, his eyes wide and curious. He had sensed tension, yes, but the explanations adults offered seemed distant, almost abstract. My focus remained on ensuring his continued safety, anticipating any ripple effects from Lily's actions. I moved methodically through the house, checking every lock, every security measure, every potential point of vulnerability. It was no longer just about Victor or Lily. It was about establishing a fortress of normalcy, a safe harbor for Max where past chaos could not reach. I set up surveillance logs, updated emergency contacts, and refined contingency plans. Each action was precise, deliberate, a part of an ongoing strategy to ensure that what had happened could never happen again. The days that followed were a mix of tension and careful observation. Lily, constrained by legal boundaries, tried subtle manipulations, testing limits, sending messages that were meant to evoke guilt, remorse, or doubt. I responded only with documentation and measured silence. Each attempt was recorded, time-stamped, and filed. There would be no misinterpretation, no loopholes, no second chances for deception. Max, in his innocent world, continued to smile, play, and ask the simplest of questions. unaware that the threads of adult treachery had entangled those around him. His laughter, his unassuming presence, became a touchstone, a reminder of what truly mattered. Protecting that innocence became both a duty and a form of resistance against the chaos that Lily and Victor represented. Then came the first real test of the aftermath. Victor's attempts to circumvent legal restrictions. He had allies, contacts who might attempt subtle interventions, or worse, provoke situations that could draw Max into harm's way. I anticipated, tracked, and neutralized each attempt. Every visit, every unexpected message, every suspicious inquiry was addressed proactively. Max's life could not be a chessboard for others' schemes. Lily's behavior grew increasingly erratic. Without Victor's constant presence, she struggled to maintain the narrative she had built. Her desperation was palpable, but so was my resolve. I confronted her calmly, evidence in hand, showing the pattern of manipulation, coercion, and deceit. Each word was deliberate, each gesture measured. She faltered, realizing that the game was no longer hers to play. Despite this, she attempted subtle persuasion tactics, appealing to shared memories, to guilt, and to the concept of family. I listened patiently, allowing her words to hang in the air, only to counter them with facts, observations, and the unyielding shield of preparation. Emotion was tempting, yes, but in these moments, logic and clarity were far more powerful weapons. Max, observing from a distance, began to understand in his own way. He did not need explanations, but he sensed the seriousness, the weight of consequences. I made a point to spend extra time with him, reinforcing routines, ensuring stability, and demonstrating that trust could be rebuilt in careful, deliberate steps. His laughter once more became a victory of its own. Meanwhile, I worked on rebuilding my own space. The home, though physically intact, carried the emotional residue of betrayal. I removed reminders, organized spaces for clarity, and redefined boundaries. Each small action was a statement. This was a place of safety now, not manipulation. Every item, every routine, every room had a purpose in maintaining equilibrium. Weeks passed with careful observation. I monitored social media, communications, and potential indirect influences from Victor. He was clever, resourceful, and persistent. But my vigilance, preparation, and foresight proved superior. Each attempted contact was intercepted, every indirect manipulation foiled. The combination of legal measures, surveillance, and strategic planning formed an invisible barrier, impenetrable, yet unobtrusive. Then came the turning point. Lily's full realization of consequences. She attempted a final confrontation, a mix of defiance and pleading, believing perhaps that she could sway emotions or manipulate circumstances to her favor. I met her calmly, laying out each documented action, every manipulation, every deceit. The pattern was undeniable. There was no room for argument, no space for reinterpretation. Truth, undeniable and documented, was now the only language spoken. Max, present during the confrontation, watched quietly. His presence was a reminder of the stakes, of what mattered most. I ensured that his exposure was limited, carefully framing the situation to maintain his sense of security. Witnessing the adult world in its rawest, most conflicted state was unavoidable, but it was tempered with preparation and careful control. Victor, finally realizing that his network of manipulation had been dismantled, attempted to negotiate through intermediaries. Each message was recorded, each contact scrutinized. I responded only through legal channels, maintaining a strict boundary of formality. His influence was neutralized not through confrontation, but through careful, unyielding structure. As the dust settled, the house regained a sense of rhythm. Max's routines normalized, meals were calm, bedtime stories resumed their comforting cadence. The external threat remained, distant but contained, a shadow no longer capable of causing immediate harm. I reflected on the lessons learned. Vigilance is not paranoia, preparation is not obsession, and protection is not vengeance. Each action taken was precise, purposeful, and necessary. Betrayal, manipulation, and deceit are forces that cannot be ignored, but they can be countered with clarity, strategy, and calm determination. Lily, now fully constrained, began the slow process of reckoning. She faced legal consequences, societal scrutiny, and the undeniable reality of her choices. There was no dramatics, no last-minute redemption, only the sober, inevitable sequence of accountability. Max thrived, resilient in ways that were remarkable for his age. His innocence, though touched by shadows, remained intact, a testament to careful protection and unwavering vigilance. He was the reason every plan, every precaution, every confrontation had been executed with precision. In the evenings, as I watched him sleep, I felt a complex blend of relief, exhaustion, and cautious optimism. The battle was not just against external threats, but against complacency, emotional impulses, and the temptation to act hastily. Strategy, patience, and meticulous attention had won the day. The city outside continued its indifferent rhythm, unaware of the quiet victories and careful interventions within these walls. Life, in its ordinary continuity, went on. But within this home, a lesson had been written in every action, every precaution, every careful step. Trust must be earned, innocence must be protected, and truth, above all, must prevail. As the weeks turned into months, the environment stabilized. Max's laughter filled the rooms again. Routine walks in the park became joyous rather than cautious, and the night no longer held shadows of imminent danger. Lily's presence, though constrained, became predictable, and Victor's influence faded into irrelevance. The story, in all its dark complexity, had reached a point of resolution. Justice had been applied, safety ensured, and the future, cautiously optimistic, lay ahead. Reflection revealed the true victory. Not vengeance, not punishment, but the unwavering protection of the innocent and the assertion of truth in a world that too often rewards deception.